Hello everyone. I don't know about you, but for me, the most touching moment of the recent 95th Academy Awards ceremony was Brendan Fraser receiving the award for Best Leading Actor, an actor who is undoubtedly known and loved by anyone who lived in the 90s. An actor who, due to his dedication to his profession, as well as a number of unfortunate circumstances that befell him, was practically deprived of his career after the mid-2000s, and an actor who now, almost a quarter of a century after his first triumph, has finally received the coveted award, recognition, and most importantly a chance to return to the big screen. But you know what's the most disgusting thing about it? That right after this, a certain part of the audience, fueled by a multinational multi-billion-dollar giant, rebelled against Fraser, wanting to take away his Oscar. Not in the literal sense, but in fact, their actions were aimed at devaluing Fraser's contribution to cinema, nullifying his stunning performance, deserving of the main award in the world, and again writing him off. Today, let's find out what's going on and also remember Brendan Fraser's creative path, his ups and downs, and how this person gained worldwide fame, then lost it, and now, having regained it, risks losing it again. It will be interesting. I recommend watching until the end. So, let's start with the Oscar and how this event once again changed Brendan Fraser's life. The actor was one of the hottest stars from the beginning to the end of the 1990s, but disappeared from sight in 2008. Now that he is triumphantly returning to the screens, we are certainly interested in what happened to Brendan Fraser and, most importantly, what will happen next, as Fraser is the heartthrob of the 90s, who returned to his career thanks to the awards season for the movie The Whale, and as you already know, received his Oscar for Best Leading Actor. Moreover, this was already the culmination of the actor's triumphant achievements, as before that, he also received the Screen Actors Guild Award and the Critics' Choice Award. And now, finally, the Oscar. Of course, Fraser couldn't contain his emotions while on stage receiving the main award of his life. I am grateful to Darren Aronofsky for throwing me a creative lifeline and pulling me on board the good ship Whale, said Fraser. Gentlemen, you have exposed hearts the size of whales, so we can look into your souls like no one else. It is a great honor for me to be named with you in this category, the actor began his acceptance speech. I started doing this 30 years ago. It wasn't easy for me, but there was an opportunity that I didn't appreciate at the time until it was gone. I just want to say thank you for this recognition. Brendan continued his address, densely filled with references to the sea theme. By the way, if anyone doesn't know, Brendan Fraser received an Oscar for his role as Charlie, a man weighing 600 pounds or more than 250 kilograms, who was confined to his home by an English teacher. He tries to save his relationship with his estranged daughter, who plays Sadie Sink. And here's the main thing. The fact is that now Brendan Fraser is being attacked for his Oscar for the most ridiculous reason imaginable. It's no secret that in modern cinema, this applies not only to Hollywood, although there, perhaps, this trend is just being developed as strongly as possible. So, now, movies are often not just about movies, but primarily about self-identification, proper representativeness, and necessary representation. Well, a pretty long list of phrases that are always interpreted differently. And yet it is from here that the trend comes that, for example, gays can now only play gays, and trans people only trans people. However, it doesn't work the other way around, that is, representatives of the LGBT community can play any role, but that's just a remark. And now, strangely enough, it's Brendan Fraser's turn, whose Oscar they want to reduce to zero. What is the reason? The reason is that, oddly enough, there are people who now have considerable support who believe that the actor should not have received his award. Supposedly, Fraser has interfered with everyone's favorite justification for the necessary representation agenda. The point is that by playing a person with an extraordinary weight, whose whole life, including his relationship with his own family, has changed as a result, Fraser apparently had no right to do so. Why? Because some ethereal actor who actually has this physique should have played this role, and Brendan allegedly stole it from him. Here is an example comment. It's so disappointing that Kit received an Oscar for Best Male-Led, Best Hairstyle, and Makeup. Fat suits are harmful. It's not your opportunity to win awards. Our identity is not your costume. Choose fat actors to play fat characters. End of quote. For those who may not fully understand, the issue is that in order to play a character weighing over 250 kilograms, Brendan Fraser had to wear a specially constructed suit, which users referred to as a fat suit. Additionally, the actor underwent a very complex makeup process before filming each time. As a result of this titanic effort, the Film Academy appreciated it, so Fraser received an Oscar for Best Male-Led, and the Kit team received one for Best Makeup. But it turns out that many are unhappy about this. But logically, if trans people can only play trans characters, then it means that only similar people can play those with excessive weight, so Brendan Fraser's Oscar is a fake and even theft. Stop doing this. Hollywood is deceiving people. We want to be noticed. Here's another angry post on this topic from concerned viewers who seem to have completely forgotten what the actor's profession entails, and that the main task is to play a role of a person you are not. Yes, I agree that when, for example, in the middle of the 20th century, white actors played Asians in Hollywood, as in Breakfast at Tiffany's, it was utter nonsense and an over-the-top reaction in one direction, but now there is an overreaction in the other direction, where soon to play a soldier, you will need to be a soldier, and to play a blonde, an actress will have to be born with blonde hair and nothing else. What's even more surprising is that this message was picked up by none other than the transnational giant Dove. One might think, what does a soap manufacturer have to do with what's happening at the Oscars? But it turns out there is a connection, and the company's official Twitter account posted this message. Stop giving awards to fat suits. We want better representation in Hollywood. With the hashtag, Let's Change Beauty. In addition to the absurdity of Dove's demands, their hashtag about new beauty standards also catches attention. I understand that this refers to the weight of the character Fraser, who weighs over 200 pounds. If this is the new beauty standard that Dove is trying to promote so fervently, then medical professionals have already responded, saying that beauty is subjective and everyone has their own standards. However, the fact remains that such a weight, similar to Fraser's, is incredibly harmful to one's health and almost certainly shortens one's life. By trying to promote these new standards in their frenzy, Dove is doing a great disservice to those who take their nonsense seriously. Not to mention that the essence of the Oscars is to reward excellence in the craft, while Fraser did an incredible job playing a painfully obese man who does everything possible to reunite with his daughter. His portrayal of a man fighting his health and how his condition keeps him isolated and alone is a heavy, in every sense of the word, role. His passion and despair shine on the screen, for which Fraser ultimately received his Oscar, and all of this is also done through his costume, which looks so seamless that the people who created it deserve applause and yes, an Oscar for what they did. So in this case, it was cinema that won, not politics, as is often the case, while people and companies like Dove are infuriated by this and essentially try to trample on such a coveted, redeeming, and most importantly, well-deserved Oscar for a veteran of the film industry who seemed to have been written off. Well, fortunately, these attempts to rob Fraser have obviously failed, while the actor himself is now experiencing a renaissance in his profession. What do you think about this? Be sure to write about it in the comments, we would be interested. Also, I recommend subscribing to the channel so as not to miss more fresh news. See you next time.